are live, everybody. Welcome to our weekly fitness chat and live Q&A. Please submit your questions in the little box there. We're here with legendary strength coach Dan John. As always, Dan, great to see you. How has your week of training and all that stuff been?
Patrick, I've had a marvelous week. I don't know.
I love to hear
I don't know
it.
if I told you this last week, but I weighed 201, which is another pound. And I said, it just makes me happy, folks. And I want you to know, I mean, at my age, I'm really striving to lean out and, get those steps in. And, I go to the doctors and I do all this stuff, but things are good. Things are really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and
for
people who want the context, original goal was 207, right? And you've blown past that and still going. That's awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I feel good. Things are good. Lifts are good. Steps are good. I've been doing a lot of extra reading, not in our field or anything, but things are good. My niece, checked out. My grandniece Paige was with us this weekend. She
awesome.
She does rescues carnivores like bears and
oh wow, very cool.
Leopards. Yeah. So she's always fun to hang around with because
I'm sure there's a lot of stories there. Yeah.
People who work with snow leopards and bears, they have stories. So
keep your
hands. How about you, Patrick? How are things going for you?
Yeah, good. Had a fun weekend. I took some of the older kids to do a 5K, Dan, and it was a cool little, obviously it was great fun. It was super hot. But what I liked is afterwards I was like, you know what? That was pretty cool because it was relatively easy, and we talk about this, Dan, that, we don't do a whole lot of that sort of in the middle, long, slow cardio stuff. Right.
Right.
We kind of do a lot of like sprinting and lifting and walking. And it was just cool to see how much that really did carry over to the longer distance run. I mean, my feet and ankles are a little sore, of course, right? Because they're just not used to that amount of volume. But from a conditioning perspective, like pretty much, easy going. So it was just nice to, have that good test of generalism to see if you can just, throw yourself into something you haven't been like specializing in and see if you can hang with the big boys. And we all did. Kids did great. In fact, my daughter Mira, who's just built like a human dart, she beat me and Roan pretty significantly. She got second in her age group, which was pretty cool. Yeah. So that was good. Yeah. So generalism, and it sort of reinforced the idea that hey, between the sprinting and the walking and lifting, that can help you go the distance. Doesn't mean you have to ignore those activities entirely.
As a track coach, I'm a big believer in power laws. It's if I have sprinters, I want them to run as fast as they can or go for long walks. And that middle stuff doesn't help. You can put the high jump bar at 4 feet and practice for days at 4 feet, but it doesn't prepare you for 6'6".
Yeah.
So that even in a sport as narrow beamed as track and field, generalism, I would like my high jumper to be able to do the long jump on just for fun and be okay.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Now, of course, this is not to say that, like, look, if you want to be like the best at the thing, of course you're going to have to specialize. And as soon as we got there, like, I knew who the winner was. They have that look, right? It's like, no, that's the guy. That's the guy who's going to blow everyone out of the, he's just got that, the high school track athlete build, right? Like, no, that's the guy who goes from thing to thing. This is all he does. We can stop now. And sure enough, right? he was the winner, right? But most people don't care about, being the best of the world at it. There's a lot to be said about taking that generalist approach and be able to hop into things like that and do decent and hold your own, even though you're absolutely not specializing in it. Right.
It's it's such a fun discussion. Somebody was asking me the other day about asymmetries, and I said, well, as an athlete, you want to be asymmetrical. I mean, a discus thrower is going to have a pretty powerful left leg because that's the one that blocks. And you're going to probably spend a lot of time with this right arm that's, the knuckles drag on the ground. And then you spend the rest of your life trying to fix those problems.
Life and sports are not perfectly symmetrical. That's a great and somewhat obvious but little acknowledged point, right?
Yeah. And if you want to look good on the beach, I mean, there are certain sports that will make you look good on this beach, and certain sports elitely you won't look good on the beach. It's just the way it is, thank you. That is a really good reminder to start our day.
Yes, indeed. And just fun to get out and be doing a lot of physical activity with the kids. We got the taekwondo going, so it's it's fun to find those events that we can all kind of hop into and stuff like that. So good. All right, Dan. Any what about you for the rest of summer before we take questions here? Do you have any aside from the weight loss goals? And I know you've been pursuing the pull-ups. Anything else that you're looking towards?
I'm probably putting out the next edition of the Armor Building Formula. I thought yesterday I'd probably get it done, and it just dogged. It just in a couple of weeks I'll be going to Australia, of course. But really, the biggest goals for me are to just keep on keeping on. By the way, which is a real good goal. And that's why you hire a coach, is that you just go, okay, I get this, do these things. Okay. And my job is to do these things. And I don't think about it as much. And I think that's it really does help me a lot. Around the house, I've got a few things, and mostly right now it's writing books, and I'm doing a couple of fun things. One thing I'm doing is it's called, it's kind of a fun idea. It maybe none of you, but it's called a forgiveness journal, and you write down people. You write down people's names in your life that have soured you, and then guess what you do?
Well, it's called a forgiveness journal. I don't know, Dan. Any further clues you could give here? Yes. Well, I don't quite see where you're going with this one.
And then you forgive them. And I got a great piece of advice. Don't turn rocks into trophies. You step on a pebble, it hurts your foot. Don't turn it into a trophy. I thought that was good. I'm also doing
that's a nice practice. I like that. Yeah.
I'm not 100% there, but I'm trying to get a list of 50 names of friends in my life, family members, and every day I'm calling one other. So I pick up.
That's great. That's great.
So those two things are kind of fun.
Those are both really great. I hope people appreciate both of those. I mean, fitness is great and important, but stuff like that, yeah.
The other Patrick in my life, when we were talking about it, I said, the problem I probably have 100 plus mics in my phone. And we, narrowing down that 50 has been kind of fun. So yeah, I'm going to keep on reaching out, staying in contact with, in fact, today, one of my old throwers is in town. He lives in England now, and we're going to hang out. So just try to keep in contact with people that you care, and also just forgive the people that maybe are on your list.
Thank you for that, Dan. Those are both great. I hope people take them both very seriously.
Another name to add. Hold on, as I'm sitting here.
There we go. Another mic. All right.
Flynn.
There he is. There's the one, the most souriest of all. All right. Well, let's take some good, gentle listener questions here. Sure. So keep them coming, everybody.
By the way, I saw somebody here was from Ireland. Jamie, what county you live in?
Do tell. All right, JB, our friend JBJ says, "Hey, I enjoy doing 2 lift routines. One kettlebell exercise, and then I combine it with a calisthenic or barbell exercise, such as goblet squats or dips. Using the basic kettlebell exercises, what are your favorite 2 lift combos?" Okay, so maybe it's not a 2 lift program, but any one day he's just focusing on 2 exercises is how I'm reading this, Dan. So yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
Clean and press. Yeah.
It's my favorite. That's my all-time favorite. The clean and press, all-time favorite right there. Now, here's the debate. This clean and press, when we say the double kettlebell clean and press, are you counting that as 2 exercises or that one? I mean, technically,
See, that's always the problem. And that's why I have to be so specific in when I tell people clean and press. So 2, 3, 5, 10 is clean and press, clean and press, clean. Or if you really might make it hard, it's clean and press. It's very confusing. Yeah, I know. Clean and press.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I loved like combos. I like pairing clean and press and front squat on the same day, and then pull-ups and deadlifts. So you got 4 exercises there, and I just like the way that those, if you're just looking, for bang for buck, 2 exercise combos. I like that. I like that sort of thing. And that's, mixed modality there. You got your body weight stuff with pull-ups, you got your barbell with a deadlift, and then clean and press and front squat with kettlebells.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to, if you were going to take something like that seriously, like an easy strength approach or a power to the people approach, pull-ups and deadlifts as your 5 days a week, that 2 sets of 5 or whatever you do,
Yep.
That would really be an interesting core, But honestly, folks, if you did kettlebell clean and press, pull-up and barbell deadlift, I'm sure you're missing something, but whatever it isn't in the most.
You got a lot of your bases covered. Absolutely. Yeah. So those would be.
And I just Jamie, I remember that that wasn't 2019, was it? And so Jamie lives in County Clare, which is that's where the Cliffs of Moher are.
Oh,
and that's also where my buddy's Olympic lifting gym is. It's the famous place for surfing, Jamie. That there's a beautiful hotel right on the coast that sometimes gets flooded from the high waves. But okay. Oh, and Nathan is here.
Well, at some point I will have to make the trip to Ireland. Apparently, I have some heritage there. Is Flint Irish or is that German? Maybe it's German. Maybe it's German. I could be wrong. All right, good. All right, let's keep going here. Some good stuff. Sorry, there's some comments here. Not that they're not good, but I'm just looking for the questions.
Sure.
They're talking about the old man maker combo. Yeah, so the man maker was the old clean push up. Get level changes. We talk about level changes a lot. The man maker is a good example of a kind of level changey type of exercise. But here's a question from Lee. Lee says, I had a meniscus tear in surgery, about 30% taken out. If I go past 90 degrees in the squat, it's not good. Wrecks that leg for a while. Do I still benefit from doing squats, but not just to 90? So I'll just offer a quick thing here. The answer is yes, absolutely. There's still major benefits to partial range of motion, but major qualification, like making sure that you've been, inspected by the proper professional and actually cleared to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. If something's hurting or you're not cleared, don't do it. Take, Erica just had bunion surgery. It's 9-10 weeks ago. And she's still limping around. Of course, there's metal in a toe, so that's not going to heal as fast as, say, metal in a hip. But we've got to learn to be a little bit more gracious with our injury recoveries.
Yeah, it takes time. Even when you're young, it takes time.
Yeah.
Well, seriously,
we use that phrase a lot. Give yourself some grace and space, and it's like. Give yourself some grace on these things because I've rushed back from a couple of surgeries and it doesn't help. I think Tiger Woods, among other reasons, just kind of shattered his career it was heroic that he just got that knee surgery and went back and won that thing. I think it was at Pebble Beach, but because he tweaked his swing because of the knee, it blew his back out. And I'm just saying that's the issue with coming back too soon with an injury or pushing is very often somewhere else up the chain breaks, Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is really important. I've, like I say, even when you're young, when you're injured, because I had enough injuries when I was young, especially like the tendonitis stuff, man, it just takes a long time. You have to be careful and you have to be patient because otherwise it's just going to take even longer. That's the point. Or it's going to cause you to hurt something else. So, and I get it. I get it. Nobody likes being sidelined in any respect. Neither do I. And sometimes you have to do things, right? Like you're an athlete, you have to do things. I mean, as odd as it sounds right now, I have like 2 or 3 guitar injuries right now, but I don't have the option to stop playing, right, with my hands and wrists. And so like I've had to get very creative of how I kind of work around stuff, just even for musical performance too. So I get it. Like sometimes you don't really have an option to stop completely, but you still have to be prudent and figure out what you can do to make sure you're getting a sufficient amount of recovery and rest, and not, even if your recovery is maybe a bit prolonged because you can't stop, it's not totally inhibited. I think that's the key. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a fun topic. And the thing is, if it is coming around and you can do like suspended squats and stuff like that, and you're helping yourself, and you're trying to open up your mobility and stuff. Yeah, I see it. If you're cleared. Can I just say one more thing to my friends?
Please do. Yeah.
One of the best places to Olympic lift in Ireland is right there in the Hinge at Paul Dunn's place, right there in the Surfer Park. So there you go.
Go see.
And if you go there, tell Paul hello. Okay.
Yes, please do. All right. Good stuff. Good question. Hopefully that offers a little bit of guidance. All right. Let us keep going. Oh, here's a good question, Dan. Time to diagnose. Our friend Samuel wants to know, why am I still flabby? Why am I still flabby? All right.
I mean, you're going to have to do the math. It's going to be, what's your caloric intake? There's no question. The gut biome helps. The insulin paradox is true, but it is calories in, calories out at some level. It is much easier not to get fat. Thank you, Art Devaney, for that. But once you're there, you've got to go on some kind of caloric restriction first. And then you have to, and remember, I have the numbers down here on the bottom of my, I'm not going to pull them up because I'll lose the screen, but, me just sitting around all day, just sitting around smoking cigarettes, I'll probably burn 2,100 calories. Okay.
Marlboro, or are you more of a Newport girly?
Camel Unfiltered. No.
Yeah.
Folks, that's a joke. But if I just sit around all day watching The Price is Right, I'm going to probably burn 1,900 to 2,100 calories. It's somewhere in that range. So that's your basal metabolism rate. But for me so I have been on 2,600 calories a day and a little bit less. Well, I don't know, for four months. And, and then I walk just to, get a little bit more caloric burn. But you got to know what you're taking in first. It is like any business. I mean, I've talked to people who don't even have, who want to be like personal trainers, especially, with no business understanding. But they don't even know they're not even sure how much money is coming in.
Yep.
And then they don't know their costs.
Yes.
Well, you got to know those. So in the Flabby world, you got to know, well, first off, where am I? What is your waist measurement? Where's the before pictures? Where's the now picture? Where are the measurements? You just start crunching numbers. Just take out a piece of paper, measure everything you possibly can. Then take out another piece of paper, add, just write down everything you ate for 3 days. Then after that, do a caloric check for, the next, you got to have numbers.
Yeah. Can I just emphasize that we know from experience and the science that people are awful at estimating, 2 things in particular. One is relative intensity in the gym. People just quit sets way before they actually, like, they think they're at failure way before they actually are, right? We know that they're awful at gauging their own capabilities and assessing, the actual, effort that they're applying. And this because, again, somebody's like, oh yeah, I'm smoked at 12 reps, but then a coach comes in and screams at them and turns on heavy metal music and they actually had 25 reps, right?
Yeah.
And the other one, more relevant here, is relative intake. Like, people are just really bad at gauging where they are generally calorically, that so many people will think they're like eating less or not enough. But then when you actually take a look into things, you take the time to actually write it down and calculate it, you see a lot of eyes get very wide. very quickly. So that is always, as Dan is saying, step one. You just need to know where you're at and stop just kind of just, feeling or groping around in the dark, as it were. It's not the way to go.
I've been criticized for using this joke too much, but it's the old Irish joke of you pull over the side of the road and you say, I got to get to Dublin. How do I get there? And the farmer says, well, I wouldn't start from here. It's where are you is first. Oh, and by the way, Lee added that it's been cleared. Lee, Lee, do your best on nudging that, but you might just be in a situation where you don't do. I would just say you'll never do a heavy back squat again the rest of your life, because that's probably a good plan. But you might just need to nudge it, but don't overdo it. And look up Original Strengths Rocks and to see if that'll help you. But yeah, calories in, calories out is as boring as anything in the world. But what most people don't realize, Patrick, is that handful of chips that I had literally on Sunday today's my son-in-law Kyle's birthday. His party was Sunday. And we got there and I picked up some chips and I looked at the bag and realized that this many chips was as much as one of my protein drinks, or actually more than a couple of eggs. You're going to have a real hard time outrunning chips and crisps and French fries, and concentrated calories are everywhere and they're hard to defeat.
Yep. So once you have a lay of the land, then, what can you do to get your protein up and get the hyper palatable foods that are just so easy and automatic to overconsume out? I think some things to consider are not just, like taking advantage of protein shakes and strategic meal replacements, but environment matters. People are so not aware of not just the stuff that's in their own house, like just get it out of the house. Like there's no reason to have that stuff around the house. But then also other social settings and the, types of places you go, you really do need to consider. I think this is something that's not talked about enough, of how much we are all a product of our environment, right? So if you're constantly hanging out with people that are eating a certain way, drinking a certain way, generally inactive, it's very, very hard to constantly work against the general direction or pressures of your environment.
You get pulled in. I mean, tragically, I had a daughter go to the University of Utah instead of the Utah State University. And here I am a couple of years later wearing a red shirt with a U of U logo on it. This is the kind of thing that can happen, Patrick.
Awful.
You hang around enough Utah fans, pretty soon you're wearing the colors.
And then it's just.
But I'm joking, folks, but it's true. If you and your friends go to trivia night at a bar on Monday, you go to Tuesday night wings night at the strip club, you watch college football all day Saturday, pro football all day Sunday, constantly consuming beer and snacks, it's going to be real hard to tweak that around on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yep. So things to keep in mind. And notice we didn't even get to exercise yet, but those are generally when it comes to that question, why am I still flabby? It's like these people are exercising, right? They're asking, why am I still this when I'm doing all that? Well, it's usually because you're not doing all this other stuff, right? So there we go.
Can I just add, I mean, that woman, I think I might have mentioned to you last week, I was at that party and her trainer has her doing 2 high intensity sessions a day, and he wants her down to 1,200 calories a day. And she's lamenting, as she's chugging champagne about, she always feels bad. She doesn't look good. She doesn't feel good because so if your calories are 10,000 a day, you're going to have a real hard time, getting desk. But if you're overdoing it, you got to be in the right range. You have to have a marginal deficit of calories and a slight uptick in exercise to get. But the problem is that's not how most people think. They go back to the 7 deadly sins. sloth or sloth, and gluttony. So I'm going to do it by, I'm going to exercise until I faint, and then I'm not going to eat calories. Doesn't work. It's not repeatable. It's not doable.
Yeah, good.
Because I know.
Jason has a question. Hey, it's hot in summer. So how do you get your 10,000 steps in? Any creative ways to achieve that goal? Yeah.
Well, as soon as I'm done with the podcast here, I'll go out and I'll stroll around the neighborhood a few times because it's still cool. My group meets here at 9:30. We'll go for a 1-hour walk as a group and talk about calories. And one thing I have found kind of helpful, Jason, and I like this. I proved it yesterday in the gym. So when I do, like yesterday, I did incline bench press, and between each set of incline bench, I do original strength neck nods. Okay, and I have this little stool, and this is going to sound so simple, but my incline bench is here against the wall over here. Okay, over here, and I took the stool and I just put it farther away, actually into the driveway. And so after I do my inclines, I would pop up and walk over, and I would do my neck nods over there. I got 2,500 steps from the start of the workout. In a half an hour, I got 2,500 steps just by adding more of a walk between rests.
Yeah, smart. I like that. That's smart.
I mean, if you train at home and you can possibly do it, even if you just make circles, if I'm training by myself, I listen to podcasts or books on tape. If I'm training with the group, it's easier to get the steps in because someone else is moving into the machine, into the incline or the deficit deadlift, So, but that is a real easy way for me to get my 10,000 steps in a day. I have to do one concentrated walk a day. Okay. And that's
get it done earlier, right? Yeah. I think, and it's a good way to just kind of start the day too, just getting out on a walk like that, for sure.
And the funny thing about 2,000 to 3,000 steps, gentle listeners, it's not that far. I would say 3,000. It's under half an hour for me, easy. I think. If you do the steps, in your gym between sets, that's going to work out pretty good. I mow my own lawn. I have the means to hire somebody to do it, but I do it because it's a really easy way to get. I think mowing the lawn for me is only like 2,000 steps, but
yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, mow your grass. You want to up it? Get the old school push mower too while you're at it. Yeah.
And then honestly, and this is such a cliche, but when I go to the mall, actually now most of the time I live about a mile from the mall, so I'll just walk to the mall, eat my steak, potatoes, and broccoli at the Nordstrom's Cafe, and walk home, and I pretty much cover my steps for the day.
Malls. If you still got a mall, I just remember that's what all the parents did, and when I was growing up, they just took us to the mall just so they could walk. Remember, because power walking was a big trend for a while. Everyone power walking. Remember the power walking trend?
Yeah. Okay. One thing I will say though, if you are trying to do fat loss, and I discovered this over again. I got away. I'm not rucking or doing heavy hands anymore until I get while I'm doing this program. It's more important for me to do 10,000 steps a day. It's 11 now, but 10,000 steps a day, moseying, than it is for me to, if I ruck or heavy hands, that gives me the urge to eat more. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
High intensity. My response to high intensity is to, I think the word is rapacious. I really want to eat.
Yeah.
So what I think the best way to do this is to nudge body fat down. But don't take this wrong, gentle listeners. Very few of you will do that. I'm sorry. I've lost a pound a month for 4 years. I see it the same way you get an advanced degree. You do the work, you show up, but you do it every single day.
Bird by bird. Bird by Bird, right? It's a reference to a good book. If you guys haven't seen Bird by Bird, it's a good book. Big project. Just take it bit by bit. That's the idea. All right,
that's actually from the brothers Karamazov too. Yeah.
All right, Lee has a question. How do I get to a 24 kilogram Secret Service snatch test 105 minutes? So that's not quite right. Yeah, the Secret Service snatch
and I think
test
somebody overcorrected you, Lee, but go ahead.
Is double that. So the Secret Service snatch test is 210 minutes. This is just your standard RKC strong first snatch test.
Yeah, Lee, I've written on this. I mean, if you go to the Strong First forum, has me and Mike Brown's insights on this. And if you can't find it there, danjohnuniversity.com, and it's basically just preparing for the certification. Okay, 100 reps in 5 minutes is not that hard. It's hard. Come on, it's 5 minutes of. It's like, no offense, but a 5K run isn't hard, but it's still a lot harder than not getting out of bed on a Saturday and running, right?
And here's why I've always defended it, because it's certainly not impossible. And we can talk about if somebody's 95 years old or 95 pounds about shifting to weight. But generally, for most people, most of the time, it's totally doable, but it's hard enough that it shows you actually have to care about something. And that's what I like about it. Yeah. That's what I like about it, right?
Yeah. One of the issues I think we ran into our kettlebell community, especially on the cert side, is that everybody's an exception.
I know, right?
And I got a woman complained at the cert because we only had binary male and female snatch test numbers. And I thought, first off, why is that an issue? Again, it's like I guess Fox News one day had 13 references in a half an hour on transgender athletes in the NC2A, but it's the number is 0.00001%. These aren't important numbers, but what happened is at first we had 24 kilo bell for men 100 times. What if you're 75? 24 kilo bell 100 times. Then it had to be by body weight. Then it had to be by age. Now. And I send out people doing the RKC2 a 24-page document.
I know the range of different. Yeah, it's kind of silly.
So the nice thing is we've gotten away from that, and I like happy.
It. Keep it across the board. If you're over 89 years old, there's the one exception, right? Yeah. Look. Here's the deal, right? So I did the RKC when I was like 19. Yeah, pretty sure I was the youngest person to ever do it. And I probably weighed 156 pounds. And I did that stupid thing. And that was the fastest one there. I was 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Whoa. Yeah.
Cooked it with gas. But, I put in 3 to 5 months of really good prep time. Through really good. So I went in because, here's the deal. If you're going to do a cert, don't be distracted and nervous about the snatch test. Go in 100%, know that that's going to be a walk in the park so you can actually pay attention to because I have people there and they're all like, when's the snatch test?
That's all I don't know
if I'm going to pass. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't even be here, right? It's like most people in college, you don't show up because you just shouldn't be here. You just should not be here, right? And that's why the snatch test is there, to show if you should be here or not, right? That's what I like about it, right? It's good to have it's good to have standards. And okay, I could have complained about the dude who's 300 pounds that, the 24 to them is a skill, but they failed their pull-up test. So we'll see you later. Right. Kind of even the way it was structured, it wasn't totally lopsided. There were other things that as a leaner, lighter guy myself came easier than the bigger guys who the snatch test was nothing. Right. So I felt it was balanced in other ways that I never felt the need to say, well, this guy's 3 times my size. Why am I using the same? Well, I can do it in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So I don't think we need these weight classes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That was my big push, in the RKC world, we have the book Return of the Kettlebell somewhere up there. And, Pavel says right there in the beginning, don't do this program until you can press the beast and do 200 snatches with the 24 in 10 minutes. Well, I remember being at that conversation where I was the only person who had done those two things. And my thought was, I like the idea of that to be, and I still like this idea. So you show up on Friday, 3-day certification. There's the beast. There's the 24. Press it, snatch it snatch it 200 times. Now let's teach you all the things about kettlebells.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, there's the pull up with the weight on your toe. There's the max pull up. There's push ups. There's this. There's that. It's supposed to be a kettlebell cert. So we should just be testing kettlebells. Having said that, I also like that's so hopefully.
Well, maybe they should just like separate it out. Maybe you should have like a weekend of hazing prerequisites, right? And then after that's done, then you can sign up for the cert, which is just, maybe that's the solution. Like just separate them. Like, hey, before you can do the cert, you gotta do the hazing is a totally separate thing, right? It's
there's no value to anything we're teaching.
There's no value. There's no value. It's just to see if you cared enough to get through it, right?
We're just gonna ground and pound you. Yeah.
Maybe there's something to that, right? And then you'll make double the money, right? Because you can charge them for both. So it's brilliant. Yeah. All right. Real quick, because I know Dan John has those resources. I've always like 3 days a week of dedicated snatch training, one overload training, super heavy, 1-2 bell sizes heavy. Just get your power and strength and grip up. Another day of just working volume with your snatch chest weight, and then another day of just, Dan, you talk about this, light. Get used to going for the full 5 minutes straight. And between those three, you do that seriously for a few months of prep time, the overload, the volume, and this just the consistent 5 minutes of wind building. You'll get there. Yep.
Yeah.
It's not complicated
to have someone come to my gym and get ready for the prep, and I'll give them like a 10-kilo bell. That's because I think the 10 kilos are it's a really good, the ones I have are really good bells. They're, you're not going to blow these off. They're good.
Yeah.
Good quality 10 kilos. And I'll tell them to snatch it 100 times and to listen to the, okay, you're going to try to do that with 24 and you're, yeah. Yeah. So Antonio says the SFG. Yeah. Well, yeah, everybody has that. Yeah. That's the, but I tell you one thing that's funny about, okay, see, he says half. So he's correcting me with the SFG numbers, but again, now it's half body weight. Okay. With the kettlebell. So that means that the guy who weighs 186 pounds is scrambling around looking, trust me, oh my God. Okay. The guy who weighs 81 kilos is looking for I can't do the math real fast, but a 40.5 bell to press, and just beast 200 with the 24. I'm
simple, clean. I like it. All right, good. All right, let's keep going. Hopefully that is helpful to you, dear sir. All right.
Some other thoughts, but we'll move on. Yeah.
All right, let me, sorry, lost where I was before. Let me scroll back up. All right, here we go. Eric says, this relates to something you were talking about just a couple minutes ago, Dan. He says, recently Dan mentioned limiting cardio to decrease appetite stimulation. If losing weight is calories in, calories out, if one still maintains a calorie deficit, is one still on a path for weight loss? And we talked, I think it was last week, we were talking about how just different types of exercises, both exercise.
Let me see if I can pull this up, if it's in here real fast. Okay. So here's why. Okay, so I have my Patrick. I don't know. Oh, I know what I can do. I can send this to. Can we put this up on the thing?
Maybe. Let's see.
Okay, this isn't great. Okay.
Okay,
but I don't know how to load a picture. Can I send it to you in private chat? Would that work?
I mean, you try it. We'll see. I'm not going to make the promises to the listener. The technology is finicky. But what we can do is we can put it in the show notes at least afterwards.
Well, let me do this. So I spent a lot of time looking this stuff up. Okay, and because I'm a lunatic, but let me just give it to you real fast. Okay, it's worth. So we're going to use my body weight right now. So the idea is this: say like I'm supposed to have 2,700 calories a day, probably, okay, and I get 26. Are you following along on this? Now, so I'm already in 100-calorie deficit a day, which I don't trust. We all know that, I certainly slide up and down because calories are tough. But if I walk 2,000 steps a day, I burn an additional 117 calories a day. If I walk 5,000, I'm up to 293. But this is according to calorie counters. If I walk 10,000, which of course I do, that's 585 calories a day. If I truly am in a 100-calorie deficit, that would mean over about a 5-day period, and it kind of works out that way, I should lose a pound. Do you want any other numbers on this chart, Patrick? Give me another body weight.
160.
Okay, you're 160. Okay, so for you, no offense, but you're only going to burn about 94 calories with 2,000 steps, which is fine. 5,000 is 234. 10,000 is 468. But 15,000 is 702. By the way, and I broke it out. I only have it by pounds, but watch what happens if you weigh 300 pounds. If you only walk 2,000 steps, it's still not very much, 176. 5,000 steps, 439. 10,000 is 878. But listen to this: if you get to 15,000 steps a day, 1,317. So you can't out exercise a crappy diet. You just can't. But if you wake up, that great question, my favorite part of Covert Bailey's Fit or Fat, somebody asked him, if you woke up fat, what would you do? And he would say, I would start walking 3 to 4 hours every day. 3 or 4 hours. So it's true. You would. So part one is you get a very nice caloric nudge by 10,000 steps a day. But the big one is this. So I hope you're listening. When I walk, I hope you're listening. That was a stupid thing to say. When I get my 10,000 steps in, yeah, it's about 500 calorie burn. But more importantly, I don't walk into the house and go, oh my God, I need orange juice and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a bowl of Cheerios because I work, which will undo, I need a bag of chips, which will undo everything, So that's why walking doesn't, for most people, have that raging urge to compensate with calories.
Good. Yeah. And last week we spoke a little bit about how even just particular exercises tend to have this effect of making you totally, insatiable, right? So, keep it in mind, that you're not working against yourself in the gym or with your exercise selection, especially if you're just aware of that. And you're like, oh yeah, if I do this, like I just can't seem to eat enough. Okay, there's other options, right? Yeah.
So there's these post-workout recovery drinks that the high school kids will drink, and they're 600 calories. Well, an hour workout, and I've trained high school kids. I don't think you burn 600 calories in an hour. 600 calories, it's a lot to burn, is a lot. So say you burn 400 calories, and you can go higher. That 600 calories just had a surplus of 200 calories. Now you're literally, after working out, turning yourself back into a fat gaining machine.
Mm-hmm.
You just listen. I know it is also gut biome. It is also, I think the closer to nature you eat, the better. Ultra processed foods are bad. All those things are true. But you can get away with murder in calories if you keep your calories low. Now, satiation, and I'd also throw in health. You could, that's why I'm a big fan of protein and fruit for me, because I think fruit is so healthy for me. But I feel like I'm rambling, but it's really important you know these numbers, okay? You don't have to become an economics major, but you got to know the numbers, because there is some pure math when it comes to fat loss.
Good points. Here's a fun question I often get from my children. How did the two of you meet? Dan, yes, the origin story. So I'm trying to remember the year. Was it, because I remember the event very well. Was it 2010? Was it 2010 or 2011? It had to be 2010 or 2011, right? Because it was that NPE event. So what it was, I'll tell my account, and Dan can fill the details. Me and a good friend of mine, Master Sam, were sponsors. We were actually sponsoring a business event. We had a little booth out. Dan was one of the speakers there, and Dan came over and got my little
Dragon
my little book on kettlebell complexes.
Yeah.
And of course, I was deeply, deeply flattered by this. Also, a little bit nervous because I had known Dan and read his stuff for many, many years and was a big fan of Dan. And now he was going to go tear my book to shreds, right? Or he was probably just going to throw it in the trash can, I thought, as he walked by. Just a nicety. But actually, as it turns out, I don't know, in an hour or two later, he comes back. You said you read the whole thing, which wasn't difficult. It was a pretty slim volume. Said very many nice things about it. Of course, I was over the moon. And then we wound up really just hanging out that entire weekend. Some late nights. I think there was some whiskey. We had a ton of fun and really just kind of kicked things off from there. And then we did some workshops together. And I'm missing details, Dan, but
I think that's when I met Rocky Blyer. Rocky Blyer, for those who don't know, Rocky Blyer was always been a hero of mine. He has 4 Super Bowl rings playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But more importantly, to my family and my family tradition, he got blown up in Vietnam and lost a whole bunch of his foot, and then played in the NFL and got 4 Super Bowl rings. And he also went to Notre Dame, and when, he's standing there signing the autographs in the books, and I go, I'd love to hear some Father Judge stories, the famous strength coach at Notre Dame. He looks up and he says, "Stay here. We'll have lunch together."
Yeah. No.
And so Rocky and I became friends, and Patrick and I became friends. And you might not remember, but Mike Krifka was there, because I have a picture of me and Steph and Krifka.
Yeah. I remember Steph being there. Was Mike
Beth
there?
Geary. Yeah. And
so
it was a great weekend.
Yeah. It was.
And you could never repeat it. It was, and wasn't it in the Orlando area?
It was. Yeah, it was down in Florida, and it was a really, really good time. I've been to lots of events, but that one was standout, not just because I met you, but it was really well done. Whatever happened to that whole company, NPE and Sean Greeley? Are they still around? I mean, I've been out of the circle, so maybe they're still doing great, but I just haven't.
Don went to my daughter's wedding, and he was there. And then he came out and visited, became friends.
Yeah.
And then obviously, the problem in this industry is, and I don't know why, but there's about 5 or 6 people I never hear from, and then they want something. I don't know if he's that way, but I just don't hear from him, and I don't know where he went. But that was a good event, and I think people liked what I said, and it was fun.
It was, yeah. Okay, so there you go. Thanks for the question. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, and then we did a couple. What was you have a name? The dragon wasn't it Prussia, King of Prussia?
Well, so yeah, we brought you out to the Dragon Gym, which is technically in Exton, Pennsylvania. So it's about a half hour from King of Prussia, the nation's second biggest mall, next to Mall of America. So if you want to get your steps in, head to King of Prussia Mall. I'll take care of that real quick. I miss those days. I don't live there anymore, obviously, but at some point we'll have to throw some sort of reunion event and bring Dan on. That actually sounds like a good idea.
And Jamie's on a roll, man. Sean lives on the Gold Coast, Australia. Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, that answers.
Give him my best, for God's sakes. It's been a while.
Yeah, that answers a question I didn't have, but good.
Yeah.
All right. Let me scroll back up here. Lots of good questions today, everybody. Marco says, "Hey, if we don't have a suspension trainer, can we do the TYI face down on the floor with light weights? Would that be a good substitute?"
Well, I'd love to see a picture of it. I can see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Those exercises actually come from the bar, from the dumbbell side. I would suggest probably laying down face down on a bench.
You'll get more range of motion. You can even just do a deep hinge and just tilt yourself that way and do it. And that might even be a little bit better to get more range of motion out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do bent flies now because I'm really trying to get these this to not be so broken. So when I do those bent over flies, one little thing I do is I put my toes up in my gym. It's real easy, but so either put it on plates or a bar, or I just put it up. I just put them up on the pad. So my toes are up and my heels are on the concrete. The reason I do that is when I hinge in that position and bring my chin up, I can really feel. So the hamstrings connect in the calves. As long as I feel my hamstrings connecting in my calves, I know I'm in a good static hinge position, and I'm not flumped over, which is gonna. So I don't want to fix my shoulders and destroy my back. Not destroy, but pop.
Yeah, totally.
Anyone's ever hurt their back is going. I know what you mean. Yeah, that back. How'd you hurt your back? It's always a stupid story. After 4 hours of shoveling snow, I put the shovel up on the rack and my back went out.
Yeah, it's never anything cool. Like you fought off a bear or something like that. Yeah. And all right, let's grab this one real quick. Nathan,
a gentle listener, try it and let me know.
Okay. Nathan wants bigger, meatier legs. He's a 42-year-old dad, and he's doing back squats, and he just wants to know if there's any advice aside from doing, back squats for getting his legs big and strong.
Yeah. The problem is, what do you mean by back squat? I was working with somebody yesterday, and they have this goal, but they're not getting anything out of it because they're doing basically good mornings. So they're putting, they're not working the legs, they're working the lower back and the whole back of mass. Personally, in my experience, I've always found the front squat better for mass. When you talk to the bodybuilder world, it's all machine work, much more direct. But if you want, also, and there's DNA involved too, but when my legs were at their hugest, and they were freakishly big in my senior at Utah State, it was because of front squats, because that to me works the quads well. Now I'm sounding like a bodybuilding coach, but
no front. I'm with you. I haven't done back squats in a very long time. I've always been more partial to the front squat, and you need the intensity, and you need the volume. Those are two important things. Again, we talked about how people don't often get the intensity side right, but you need to make sure you're getting a good amount of volume too if you want size, like 10 sets of work on that region per week at least. Good. All right, Dan, before we say goodbye, what are you working on this week? Writing projects, anything else?
Anybody has any questions on the armor building formula, please ask them now, and I will answer them in the book because I am really getting tapped out on them.
It's the final statement.
Yeah. You can reach out to me on the forum, Dan John University, and I'll answer. But I just get so many ABF questions, and I keep trying to answer them with, but I gotta put them in one place. There's something going on. Of course, we're in the middle of the fire season out here in the West, but so it's been kind of weirdly dark and everything. But and I understand. I don't know if you looked at your where you're living. You're in for some serious weather out there in Wisconsin.
Oh boy, yet again. Yeah,
but yeah, things are good. Tonight we're gonna have a dinner with my college throwers.
Nice.
It'll be fun. I got one of my former throwers in town. That'll be fun. Life's good. Hanging out with babies, and things are good.
Love to hear it, Dan. Thank you as always for sharing your wisdom. Thank you, gentle listeners, for your questions. We'll see you next week. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Goodbye.
Take care.